Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, how to get what you want out of life in 3 easy steps. Brought to you by financialfreedomtool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Big Success with the Professor and Mary-Lynn.
Today we're going to share a real practical process that will help you see how to get what you want out of life.
It starts by gaining clarity about your priorities, setting financial goals in line with those priorities, and then watching your progress.
Hey, my name's the Professor, also known as George Kruger. Wait, sorry, I got that backwards.
You're George Kruger, the Professor.
That's right. I'm sorry. I got it backwards, Mary-Lynn. So, all right, I'll turn the hat around.
And I'm Lynn Mary. Oh, I'm Mary-Lynn.
There you go. Well, so we looked at this subject as we considered it, how to get what you want out of life. And it really all begins with big success. Big success is life on your own terms.
And there are 5 elements to big success: money, time, growth, work, and play.
And your 2 resources are money and time.
And George, how do those resources help you get what you want out of life?
Well, it all comes down to something that's a big word: allocation. Allocate. We're going to allocate these resources. We're going to allocate time and money so that how we spend our time and how we spend our money is in alignment with our priorities. That's how you get what you want out of life.
And today we're going to focus on money.
You betcha.
Coming up, how to align earning and spending and saving and investing with your life priorities in 3 easy steps. But first, a word from our sponsor, financialfreedomtool.com. Plenty of money for life.
How do your personal finances stack up to your neighbors? The new Financial Freedom Tool shows you how your income and expenses compare to other people like you, so that you quickly see how to save more money. Learn more at financialfreedomtool.com.
Today we're talking about how to get what you want out of life in 3 easy steps. And step 1 is to clarify your priorities.
And I think perhaps, Mary-Lynn, the best way to do this is to just give some examples, okay? So here's some examples. You know, we can look at this at a very high level and be kind of frou-frou and airy-fairy and all that with this kind of stuff, right? Or we can really get it down to the practical, and that's what we've chosen to do. Bring it down to something that's practical to all of us. For example, one priority could be to buy a house. That's pretty simple, right? Just buy a house.
It isn't to be in a higher realm and in a higher realm of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what airy-fairy is.
I don't know either, but anyway, I've never met Airy.
Or fairy.
Yeah,
all right. So,
but like buying a house, taking a vacation, retiring early or retiring on time, you know, those are examples of the kind of financial or life priorities that we're looking at here. And what we do is we suggest you form a list of 5.
And why 5?
5 because you can manage 5 at once, but you probably can't manage much more than that. Now, you're free to have less if you want. I mean, if you have 2, you have fewer things to focus on, and you're probably more likely to push those 2 things ahead at a faster pace. But for now, let's just think that you're going to have 5, okay?
So you just start with a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah, start with a blank sheet of paper, and at the top, write something like, what are my top priorities in life? Okay, so going to have that down and then start listing your priorities, and what you want to ultimately end up with is a ranking of 1 through 5.
So 1 being the most important, 5 being the least important
of this group. They're still pretty important compared to everything that you could be doing, but it's the number 5th out of this group.
And if you don't want to have to create this all on your own, we do have a free cheat sheet. It walks you through this process. We have 40 priority possibilities, plus some blanks so that you can add in your own, because even though we tried to cover them all, we know that we couldn't possibly do that. Just follow the link in the show notes to be able to download the free cheat sheet.
Now, another thing I think to understand about this, Mary-Lynn, this whole process really, but particularly this point, clarifying your priorities, this is not a one and done for life kind of thing. You know, I mean, our priorities, as anyone of any age can tell you, they change.
Time,
absolutely. Right. I mean, you know, when we go from being single to being married, our priorities change. When we go from being dual income, no kids, to kids, that changes things, right? And so the point is, we're doing this for now, but keep in mind you should probably review this at least on an annual basis or when some major event or major change takes place in your life.
All right, we're talking about how to get what you want out of life in 3 easy steps. And step number 2 is to set financial goals in line with the priorities that you've just laid out.
Yeah, so let's just kind of go back to an example we pulled out before, buying a house. Let's just say that's our number 1 priority. Out of everything we thought of or we could possibly consider doing, buying a house is the most important thing. So now what we start doing is getting our goals in place to be able to do that. Okay, that's our priority, buying a house. It's kind of an overarching goal, we could say. But now we've got these little goals, like we're going to need to save for the down payment. Okay, let's define how much. When do we want to buy this house? How much do we think that down payment will be? That kind of stuff. We may need to work on our credit. How can we improve our credit score over the time? What could we do to get pre-approved for a mortgage? We may want to, in addition to saving for a down payment, maybe we have a little buffer account that's for our repairs, kind of like those unexpected things that could happen early on in the home ownership process. You see what we're doing here. And so, the alternative.
It's also going to change what you spend money on.
Exactly.
You're talking about, saving for things, but then there's certain things that you might not buy because of your priority to get the house.
Yeah, like you may have to put off buying a car for a while. You may say, okay, I'm not going to be able to put as much money as I might like into my retirement plan at work. We may decide we're going to delay having a child for a little bit. I mean, these are all decisions that you're making as part of establishing your priorities. And it also may mean, it's like, hey, we want to really accelerate this process. So I'm going to get a side job, or I'm going to have a side business or something like that as a way to generate some extra money.
The key with this step in getting what you really want out of life is living intentionally and being strategic, because now that you've set your priorities, you're strategically taking actions to achieve your goal.
Yeah, and I think most people just kind of go with the flow. We just kind of take things as they come, and we just kind of blow in the wind and that kind of thing. And what we're doing here is we are directing the ship. We're not letting the winds just carry the ship wherever it may go. We are fully directing this ship now. We are the captain.
All right. So now step 3 in getting what you want out of life is to watch your progress.
Yeah, and this old saying, my mentor, my college professor who taught the class I now teach, he had this saying, you can't expect what you don't inspect. And I've remembered that from the moment he said it. I've never
I think you've said that a time or two on this show.
I probably have. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get a sense, we're talking about watching your progress, but it begins with really trying to define your current reality is the term a lot of people use. It's where are you now, okay? Trying to figure out where we are now. So see where you're spending your money now. And there's a great way to do this, and that is to simply track your spending for a week. And then look at that list of how you spent your money and just answer the question, does your spending reflect your priorities?
And we have a great tool that helps you do that, and it helps you gain even more insights into your spending and where your money's going. It's called the Financial Freedom Tool, and you can learn more about it at financialfreedomtool.com.
And always remember this, living your best life means keeping an eye on the relationship between spending and priorities over time. And that leads to big success.
That brings us to today's big takeaway.
Spending not in sync with your life's priorities? Emptiness. Spending in harmony with your life's priorities? Fulfillment.
Well, don't forget to get your free download. Use our cheat sheet to get started on your list of top priorities so you can get what you want out of life. We thank you so much for listening today. And until next time,
here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.